law and administration of justice comes from Article 147, 1C, where we are supposed to prepare and implement programs for the education of the public about law and administration of justice, like we are doing right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's get into the good stuff. I'll call them the good stuff because everybody's now waiting. And later on, guys, we're going to be opening up our phone numbers so that you can call in on this particular subject. The numbers will be on your screens, so when the time is ready, you'll be able to call. Who is a moneylender?
Yes, a moneylender is a company that is licensed under the Tier 4 Microfinance Institution and Moneylenders Act. I have said it's a company. It's of the law that we are talking about.
So who is excluded from being a moneylender, since you've talked about the individuals?
Now, the one who's who's excluded from being a moneylender is a company which is doing the business of banking, because it has a different set of regulation. Also, a cooperative society. They lend money, but they have a different regulatory regime. They are not money lenders. Actually, they are also, but those which are incorporated under the Cooperatives Act, this Tier 4 microfinance institution talks about them as well. So they are not money lenders because they are already. Then we have insurance companies. If it is insured, if it's an insurance company, then it cannot be a money lender. Those ones are excluded from being money lenders.
So who supervises the money lending business? Because it's moving around quite a lot, and it's going to be very active in January.
Yes, we have another institution created by law, which is called the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority. That is the authority that supervises money lenders.
So what are those functions of the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority in relation to money lending?
Yeah, as regards money lending, the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority is the one that issues licenses. It renews those licenses when they have expired, like they're about to expire. A license of a money lender expires on the 31st of December of every year, so they have to renew after that, and it revokes them in the case of breach of the law. That is one of them. Then they are the ones who conduct, before they go for inspection, they maintain a register. All licensed money lenders in Uganda are registered by Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority. So they maintain a register of money lenders. They also supervise them and inspect their books. They'll go around, inspect your books to see that you are complying. You are conducting your business in accordance with the law. And also advise government, they do research and advise government about money lending business in general and that sector.
So I wanted to ask you, since you talked about the grants, now people know where to get the licenses. Where is the office of the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority?
Yes, many people may actually not know. They can be found on Renzori Towers, Block B in Nakasero. In case you miss the direction, you just Google it. I've seen them there on the web. So you'll be able to get the direction and be able to reach them.
So I wanted to go back to money lending as a whole. In what form should a money lending contract be?
Oh, I think that is the center of our discussion today. Because we have seen who a money lender is, and we have said he's regulated. So there are conditions. There are conditions, and one of those conditions is the form the money lending transaction should take. It must always be in writing. In writing and signed by the lender and signed by the borrower. Or it can be in electronic form, because also in electronic form there will be something that is ascertainable, that can be read and that is clear. And also you can put your electronic signature to that. Yeah.
So what are the terms and conditions that need to be in this contract?
Thank you. That contract which we said must be in writing must certainly bear the names of the lender, the names of the borrower, the dates when the transaction is executed. It must indicate the amount, that is the principal loan that the borrower is taking. It should specify the terms and conditions under which that loan has been extended to the borrower. It should specify the interest rate, but also the method of computing the interest rate, as we shall be seeing shortly. It should specify the consequences of default or of early repayment, of calling up the loan, or in case the borrower wishes to clear it earlier than scheduled. It should specify the rate of cooling off. Cooling off period is when a lender lends you money, you apply, he extends the loan, but he gives you some time to consider whether or not you would wish actually to have it, or you are changing your mind. And that is done without you incurring a penalty for that. So you are given at least 5 days to cool off and consider, do I still need it? Are the terms fair enough? That kind of thing. It should specify the type of security, the security for secure that credit. What kind of collateral, what kind of security is being given. It should also specify the guarantorship, the nature of guarantorship. A guarantor is a person who undertakes to clear an obligation of a borrower to the lender in case the borrower fails. Let me add something there before we continue with the terms, because it's very important. It is really a big legal obligation that I would advise the viewers that you only guarantee a person you know that has capacity to repay the loan he wants to get. If you know that person and you are sympathetic to him, but you are unsure of his ability to pay back, then it is advisable that you do not. But if you must, because these are usually people close to us, then it should be an obligation you are willing to carry in the case of default. If a person wants to borrow 10 million and you feel you can guarantee him to the extent of 2, say I'll guarantee you up to 2. So that in the event that he fails, you don't suffer a burden beyond what you are willing to take. I want to add another piece of advice. Because usually that guarantees between you and the lender. But as between you and the borrower, there is nothing. So in the event that you find yourself having to pay the obligation of the borrower, what is your recourse, your remedy? So I would advise that you add an additional agreement between you and the borrower, so that while he may not be able to pay in time, but at least he can pay you when he's able to raise that money. So that is the little bit I wanted to add on on guarantorship. I don't know what I have left.
Collateral.
Collateral is the type of security we said should be, has been given to secure the loan. Maybe I should jump in here also to tell you what is not permitted to be taken as collateral by money lender. A national ID. You know, money lending is largely on the basis of trust. The borrower possibly has no asset to give you, and you take his national ID as a commitment that he'll be able to repay the money when on the time you have agreed. That one is not permitted. So others take ATM cards.
With the password.
You take an ATM card and then you get his password so that, sir, when you are paid on this day, I'll go and withdraw it. That one also is not allowed. Others take identification documents, like for police, they have what they call warrant cards, IDs. All those identification documents are not allowed to be taken as security for a loan. And I think that's where we err a lot. So I want you to emphasize that point, that these items are not supposed to be taken as security for a loan.
Yeah, it's because people are desperate for money, so whatever they ask them,
they give. Yes.
So can a money lender actually charge an interest of 100% per annum?
The law now prohibits a money lender from taking interest which is more than 100% per annum. What do I mean? You go to a borrow, maybe $1 million shillings. The lender, you are willing to pay, the lender is willing to lend, and he says, you'll give me 10% per month. It looks like little money you can afford depending on your need. But when you translate it into annual, in terms of annual rates, that is 120%. So you are not allowed to charge that kind of interest. But we know it happens. What happens then? What happens is the borrower has no obligation to pay it. And the law exonerates him and protects him. So when he fails, where will you go? You cannot go to court because you already. But it is also an offense for you, the lender, who's lending at that kind of rate. You can be penalized, you can be fined in case you find that you are overcharging. Yes.
Can a money lender charge compound interest or increase interest in case of a default?
Yeah, sometimes what happens is a money lender gives you money and you're supposed to pay per month. So the month when you do not pay, he says, all right, I'll extend. You'll pay next month. But now that interest for this month becomes part of the principal. So he says, write another agreement. Now, considering that interest, even another month, if you pay part, he reduces that, but what remains, he capitalizes it, and it becomes part of the principal, and he charges interest on it. That one is not allowed. Compound interest is expressly prohibited for a money lender.
So what is the maximum interest rate a money lender is allowed to charge?
A money lender is permitted to charge 2.8% per month.
That is the interest?
That's the interest. Per month, 2.8%. Per year, that translates into 33.6% per year. That is the interest rate that has been fixed by the responsible or by the minister who's empowered to fix the interest rates. I have had some complaints from people in that industry saying the interest rate is low, our money is costly.
Yeah.
Where do we, you know, all those complaints. They said maybe it should be for those institutions that draw from other sources of what they call cheaper money. We really understand. We understand, but the minister does not fix this rate arbitrarily. I'm very sure they conduct a study, they conduct a research, and come up with what is fair and reasonable. So when the players, the stakeholders in the industry feel that the interest rate is low, they can again consult with the authority, which will in turn consult with the minister to put an appropriate interest rate. But for as long as it has been capped there, it becomes unlawful for you to charge more than that, and there are consequences. There are consequences, which could result in revoking your license. And once your license is revoked, then you are not permitted to conduct that business. So it is important that we comply. Secondly, it came about as a result of exploitation. A person lends you and he recovers beyond even 100%. And as a result, the borrowers would fail to pay back and they lose their property unfairly that was being used or that was used to secure this borrowing. So we want to believe that we can explore other ways of maximizing profits in a business sense, other than burdening the borrower. Because I think, I really, even now I feel the 33% per annum is still a lot. Is still a lot going by what, for example, the commercial banks are giving as interest. Yeah.
So is a lender to issue receipts or keep records?
The lender must always keep records. The first records we talked about were the contracts, which must be in writing. And by the way, I didn't mention that you are supposed to give a borrower a copy of that contract. So those records must be kept. But also when you give a receipt, it should be given promptly upon payment, or you acknowledge on phone in case electronic means are used for payment, or he has sent his payment using mobile money. You send an acknowledgement of the money that has been paid, which should indicate how much of the principal has been paid, how much of the interest has been paid, and how much is outstanding. You should have given a schedule, a payment schedule for that loan to the borrower. I need to add something or to emphasize something here. Yes. On interest, we said you must state the method of computing your interest, and your interest must not be compounded. And then we see the practice here. Most money lenders will give you an interest for the borrowing and say flat rate, but for the whole period. Say you're borrowing for 6 months, they'll charge you the same interest for the whole 6 months. And yet you are required to pay back on a monthly basis. Meaning if you borrowed if you borrowed 6 million to pay back in 6 months, and they charge you interest, the first one you first pay back, they'll continue charging it interest. Even the second one you pay back, they'll charge it interest for the whole 6 months. Even the third one, that is not allowed. You are supposed to charge interest on a declining balance basis. When a borrower, you lend him 6 million, you charge interest on 6 months, on 6 million. If he pays part of it, you reduce what he has paid, you charge interest on the remaining 5. In the second month, you charge interest on the remaining 4. Yeah, I hope that is clear, so that you do not overcharge. And I think it is fair. Why do you charge a person for a period he has not used? Yes.
So if you're out there and you're very, very curious and want to find out, or you have an itching question, the number to call is 0703 078 318. Later on, I'll be opening up the phone call so you can call. And if you have any itching question you would like to ask Sam, the number is 0703 078 318. Going back to our talk, when can court reopen a transaction of a money lender?
Yes. Normally, you will have a transaction, and then you possibly pay and finish, and you think it is over. And but the court is empowered to reopen that transaction. Reopening is that you can still come to court, and they will consider it as if it is still ongoing, even if you finished paying. If they find that you charged interest which is excessive, then the court will reopen that transaction and reconsider it. Or if the charges, the other charges, which is not interest, loan processing, comfort charges, whatever they may be called, in order to extend that loan, are excessive, again, the court is empowered to reopen that transaction and examine it. Or if the court is of the view that, considering the equity, the fairness of the transaction, that this transaction might not have been fair, the court will reopen it. If, for example, you may have, you may even have, realized the security. Person may have failed, the transaction was unfair, you have even realized the security to repay yourself. The court will reopen it and will ask you to indemnify, to put back that person in the position he would have been in if you had not sold that security. So it is all about fairness. Once it is unfair, the court can always revisit it.
So, what kind of person, because I've had stories of this, what can a person do if the money lender evades him for the purpose of not receiving the repayment? Because guys disappear. I've had those stories whereby a person comes, the day has arrived like this, and then the money lender doesn't pick up and disappears. And then he comes back after the debt is done.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for raising that matter. I think it was one of the most notorious that made an otherwise good industry look ugly. That some people went in with ulterior motives of wanting to benefit unfairly, such that you give your security, maybe they say you park your car here, you are given a loan 2 months, on this day you bring it. And by the time you come, you find the office locked. The person has disappeared. The phone is switched off. And then
someone is on the call. We'll get to. You can still explain as they
yes.
come, yeah.
And by the time you get back, You find that the date has passed and you failed on your obligation, the security has been sold off, and you are at a loss. So what do you do? Now, if you fail to get the money lender and the debt is due and you have the money, you take it to the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority. That payment is as good as having been paid to the money lender himself.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a caller. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, Chief, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Geoffrey calling from Toronto.
Yes, Geoffrey.
My concern is about people like me who got loans some time back. Are these rules and conditions or guidelines? How are they going to help us? People who got loans some time back at an interest rate of 19%.
Okay. The question, you've had the question. I'll, Sam, if you can answer that question before we continue.
Yeah, thank you very much. He's asking, he's aware that this is a new development that is fixing, is capping the interest rate at 33% per annum. So he's asking what happens to the transactions that were entered into
Yeah, because he's having
earlier
18%.
at 18%. So for us in the law is that the law does not act retrospectively. The law takes effect from when it starts. So that is an old facility which you possibly have to clear under those terms. But you are free to renegotiate it. You are free to renegotiate it. The best, the easiest would be if you are able to pay it back quickly. Then the subsequent ones you get then will be capped at that. Yeah, that's what I can advise you.
And most people are actually like that. They think maybe previously, maybe it can help them out.
Yes.
Only
going forward. Going
Yeah.
forward, yes. Any agreement that will be executed after these regulations came into force, then would be unlawful. But what was executed before, if its interest rate is above that, is still lawful. Then that obligation still stands.
I think we have another caller. Hello.
Hello, good morning. This is Naji Sam,
Yes, good morning.
Executive Director, OKD, Corruption Coalition.
Okay.
Now, my issue is, actually I'm very happy for such information to come out publicly, like Land Friend is pressing. Now, the issue is, how best, this information is like on TV now. How best are they going to disseminate such wonderful information to somebody who is in the village who cannot even access such kind of information? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for calling. Sam, I believe you are going to answer that. Do you answer that?
I thought he was going to suggest that he's going to help us. That this one, because he has listened and he has heard, the best thing is to tell others about this. And in case he cannot remember or he needs further explanation, then you contact the Judicial Service Commission. I will be giving you our toll-free lines or our contacts towards the end. Kindly listen in, and I'm sure we will continue running this on our YouTube channels. So you visit our YouTube channels, just type in the subject you saw on your TV about money regulation of money lenders, then you will have more information. But we will continue with the other avenues of trying to sensitize the radios, write-ups, all that kind. We'll try our best to disseminate. We'll even run some especially regarding the interest rates, some awareness campaigns to disseminate this information as widely as possible. But more so, the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority will be renewing licenses of these money lenders. And one of the things they are supposed to submit are a sample of their contracts, lending contracts. I'm sure as they renew, themselves will be complying, because the risk of non-compliance is very costly. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, what is the penalty for taking a promissory note in which the amount is left blank or not truly stated?
Yeah.
For example, whereby a person says, I'm going to give you 30 million, but you're going to write 20. I'm going to give you 20, but you're writing 30.
No, the promissory note in this context, maybe we can simplify it, call it only a check. But a promissory note is more than a check. And in this, usually they say, okay, you want me to lend you money, give me a check.
It's a blank check.
Yes, but usually they give it blank. So that after the due date, if you do not pay, the person writes in the amount of money, puts a date, and goes and banks it. So when he banks that check, two things happen. One, it will bounce. It will not be paid because usually there is no money. When it bounces, he'll take it to the police, issuing a bouncing check. Number two, he can sue on that promissory note. Now, the requirement of the law is that if you give a promissory note as security for your loan, you should state the amount of money properly. Why? You prevent the money lender from the temptation of stating what is not true. Yeah, if you have a blank check, what do? You put in an amount of money you want. So there is a penalty for that. A money lender is not supposed to take a blank check if we can reduce it to that. You must state, the check should state clearly the amount of money in there and the date when it will be paid. Yeah.
So
there is a penalty for it. If you fail to do that and you are convicted, because it's an offense, you are convicted, you'll pay a fine. We are using currency points here of 50 currency points, or imprisonment of 2 years, and if it reoccurs, then you'll pay a currency point of 100. A currency point is equivalent to 20,000. So if we talk of 50, you multiply that one by 20,000, which translates into 1 million. 100 becomes 2 million. Yes, that's the penalty.
So apart from financial businesses where this act does not apply, that is the banking, insurance, the ones that you stated out, are there any other instances where there is an exemption from the application of these provisions? And for people who are out there, it's okay, we're going to open up the lines again and so that you can call, because many people are calling.
Yes. The Money Lenders Act will not apply if someone is borrowing and he's giving a chattel transfer. Chattel, like you are giving security of a logbook, of property, of movable property, and you are charging 9% per annum. Then that also will be exempted from the application of the Money Lenders Act. Remember, the interest rate is 9% per annum, meaning that these conditions, all these we have put, that are set for money lenders will not apply to you. Secondly, in case you've discounted a bill of exchange at 9% per annum. A bill of exchange is something which is supposed to be paid to someone at a future date, and because the person needs money now, you discount it at 9% per annum. That can also be exempted. Because largely, because the person is giving something which you are going to have in future. And the third one is if the transaction is secured by an equitable or a legal mortgage, then the application of the Moneylenders Act will not apply in case of such a transaction. And I think that is a big gap in the law. It's a gap in the law because the people that are sought to be protected are those who give their securities, which are unfairly disposed of. But anyhow, there is a regulation for mortgages. So even if you're a money lender, even if you say this one doesn't touch me, you must comply with the Mortgage Act, especially if you have to dispose of the properties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is a money lender entitled to charge a borrower for early repayment?
So, if you borrow for 4 months and you are able to pay it back in 1 month, you should not be penalized. You should actually pay interest for 1 month. So, a money lender is not entitled to penalize a borrower for early repayment of his obligation.
Okay. Most people, it's actually a reverse.
It's the reverse, yes. They say our contract says 4 months. Me, I don't mind you staying with the money. You can pay it whenever it is due. But if you must pay it now, you also have to pay interest for those months you have not covered. Of course, it is not a fair transaction because I've given you back your money. I'm no longer employing your money. So it is not fair to charge. And that's why now it is in the law, just to emphasize that equitable bit of that kind of lending.
So I wanted to ask you, what conduct is not allowed for a borrower during a recovery of a loan?
During recovery of a loan, a lot of things happen. Actually, it is easy when you are taking it, but now when paying back, it becomes problematic. And some people are not tactful or gentle enough to handle things well. Sometimes they go overboard. They will threaten you. They will threaten you. They will abuse you. They will want to embarrass you. So all that is prohibited conduct for a money lender. Collect your money as gently as possible, but firmly, because you're entitled to it. But avoid abusing a person or threatening a person or harming a person or harming the person's reputation. All those are not allowed. Others, we will go into your contacts and start sending messages to your friends,
Even
to your colleagues, to your wife, to your, to your church, to everybody. He's a data, we are, that kind of thing. That kind of is not allowed, especially when those that are unsolicited. Do not send information to parties which are not a party to the transaction. And when you I think that's what I can say. Do not oppress or abuse or harass. Harassment, a person will call you in the morning, he calls you in the afternoon, calls you in the evening, calls you even in queer hours, awkward hours, where a person, can you imagine, you receive a call at midnight, so and so is, hey, you are alone. So that amounts to harassment. And anything which is can be taken to amount harassment or oppression is conduct that is not allowed in money.
So can a money lender collect through an agent?
The other matter regards the collection. We know that in commercial transactions, you may have to concentrate on lending, and you can recover, but when the recovery becomes impossible, you can assign such a transaction to debt collectors or recovery agents. That one is permitted only with prior information or notification to the borrower. If you have passed a loan to an agent for recovery, you first notify the borrower, we have assigned your loan to so and so of this address, of this contact. He will be contacting you to recover this loan. Yes. If you do not do it, it's again an offense, and you will have to suffer a fine. Yes.
So how is a money lender supposed to ensure transparency? Now speaking for them.
Rule out the temptation or to rule out an attempt to defraud or to fleece or to unfairly deal with the borrower. So that transparency can only be ensured through written contracts, so that the terms are very clear. They are in black and white, and you make it very clear. And actually, I forgot to add on the terms of the other contract. The font size of that agreement must be greater than 10, font 10. Because some people write in very small font that is extremely difficult to read. I had a matter like that that I handled for a friend of mine. We tried even to put scan the document, it's a PDF. It could not be converted. It was extremely difficult to read those terms. And you always see them very faint, very small. They can be what, but very small, really, even when you try to, well, they make it font 2 or 4. So it must be greater than 10. After all, you charge this borrower for that agreement. Why don't you make it in a readable form? Why are you minimizing the paper when the charge is on the borrower? Yeah, so that one is another one. Make sure it is legible, it's readable. Thirdly, you make sure that if a person cannot read, it is explained to him in a language that he understands. Normally our agreements are in English, but a person borrowing may not understand English. So make sure that you explain that in a language that he understands. And to ensure that the person has understood, there should be a third party to certify that, oh, what you're explaining is what it means in my language. You're explaining your English in Rutoro. So the person, the third party who's going to certify must understand Rutoro to say, yeah, that is what it means. That is what will ensure that this person understands what you are saying. And then put all the terms there. Do not hide costs. All the costs of the transaction must be embedded in the agreement. Yeah, that's what, those are some of the issues that will ensure transparency.
So I wanted to ask you, what are those offenses which may be committed relating to money lending businesses?
There are very many offenses, but let's talk about a few of them. It is an offense to conduct a money lending business without a license. It's an offense. It's an offense for a money lender to charge more interest than what has been fixed. It's an offense for you. You have to avoid it. It's an offense for you to fail to give an agreement. An agreement to the borrower and stating the terms clearly under which that has been borrowed. And there are very many, almost every requirement that you must undertake. If you don't do them, there is a consequence. And they are usually fines. And those fines are not only fines, they could also result, like if you're having bad practice of trying to defraud your customers, then the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority is empowered to revoke, that is, cancel your license.
So what about, there's an offense that I think we talked about it a little bit earlier on, whereby what is written on the document is not what I get.
What's written on your document is not what you get.
Basically, I tell you with this interest, because somebody's talked about it previously, that with this small interest that you have put up for them, which is 2.8, so what is happening, I would say, I will give you, you want 20 million, I'll give you 10 million. Oh, you want 20 million, I'll write on the document that I've given you 30.
Yes. Of course, that is an offense. That is lack of transparency. And the industry regulator can ascertain. Investigations can be conducted. All we can advise you, the borrower, is bring those such matters to the attention of the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority so that they are dealt with. Yes. Otherwise, the industry is promising, even, and it is meant to leave the serious players in there and get rid of those who want to use it really to cheat others. But most importantly, I want to go where we started from. To do the business of money lending, you must be a company. Individuals are not permitted to do that business. Anyone who does it is not entitled to charge interest. And if you are charging interest, you are doing it illegally. Why? The financial sector all over is regulated. And anyone who lends money is regulated. So for you, if you don't fall in any of the different regulations, you are not a bank, you are not a SACCO, you are not a money lender, then who are you? That means you are likely to cheat, you are likely to be unfair, and yet the public needs to be protected. Yeah.
So as we wind up today's session, do you have any final words you want to give to the people out there?
Before I give final word, let me give the contact which we reserved for the end, because some people might need to ask questions even after here. The Judicial Service Commission, we have toll-free numbers 0800100221 or 0800100222. It ends with 222.
Now you can say, just say it again. 0800100222. You can also visit our website on www.jsc.go.ug. You can visit us at Kingdom Kampala on 8th floor, or if you're in Masaka, we have a region office near the probation office, or in Mbarara at the Mbarara district offices, or in Moroto at the Jealous House in Moroto. You can get some service. You can get some help from there. All right, let's receive some 2 phone calls from people who are urging and wanting to, they have some burning questions. Hello. Hello. Okay, I think he has fallen off.
Sorry,
Yes.
sorry, we've missed you.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's on now. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, Chief.
Hello, hello?
Yes, we can hear you. How are you doing?
Yes, hello.
Yes, hello. Can
Yes,
you?
good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, I wanted to inquire from that officer.
Yes. Sir, pose your question.
There are some more financial services like Platinum, like Bayport, like Risheko.
Yes.
For them, they use codes. They just go direct to the public. I don't know where the public serves. They target the public server. They put codes when they are charging almost 38% per month.
Okay. So you've heard the question.
Yes, I have heard the question he has asked, although what was not clear, but I
said
think
some
he is
services, the
asking,
Bayport and
there are
what-
other institutions, and for them they target public servants, and they charge more than that interest rate. The interest rate which the minister has fixed concerns both the microfinance, the tier 4 microfinance institutions, as well as money lenders. That those conditions, that regulation we're talking about is fixed for both of them. And even those terms should be in those terms. In case of doubt, you can always refer to the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority. Yes.
All right, let's speak another caller, and we'll call it a day. Caller on the line.
Hello.
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 Yes, we can hear you.
I wanted to humbly request, is there a way that the arbitration, or if between the money lender and the client, if those things were taken out of court and then the Judicial Service Commission creates a parallel section where they are handled, because in the court, the taxes and the things they give, they are first of all not explained, most especially on the outstanding, those contracts that were signed before that law was passed. Most of the people, that is where the challenge lies now. The contracts that were signed before that law came into effect, they are not catered for. They are being harassed, they are taken to prison, properties are being taken, some are actually in prison. They can't explain some of those. At least I know some I can talk of.
Yeah, you've heard the question.
Yeah, I've heard the question.
Okay.
Of course, we sympathize, but we expect some adjustments and understanding. As I said, don't just wake up and say, now that the interest has been fixed at this, you cannot charge me this. No, because you had an agreement with this person earlier, and we said the law does not have retrospective effect. If it was meant to, it would have said so. Such that if you had contracted an agreement earlier, then you need to honor that agreement. But I think he's talking of how can we arbitrate or mediate. You see.
And settle it outside.
And settle it. Yeah, that should be the worst case scenario. The important thing is if you acknowledge your responsibility to the lender, then you should be able to renegotiate your loan. That is the easiest thing. Renegotiate your loan and see how best you can be accommodated. Otherwise, a money lender has a right also to recover the money he lent, including selling, by the way, those properties without recourse to court but following what the law requires.
I think you should read the number again, the toll-free number, so that people can call in case they have issues, and so that they can be guided.
Yes, you can call during working days, working hours. I should add after this holiday. 0800 100 221 or 0800 100 222, or visit our website www.jsc.go.gu. You will find more of our contacts on that website, and you can make more inquiries. We can talk, we can discuss more after here.
All right.
Thank you.
After the holiday break.
After the holiday break, yes.
All right, any last remarks as we...
So my last remarks is the law is for our good, and all of us law-abiding people, it is incumbent upon us to follow it. For us as a Judicial Service Commission, we pledge to do these kind of programs, to disseminate, to educate the public about these laws so that they can comply with them. So I wish you, the viewers, and first to thank the callers. It was good that you are listening to us, you confirmed to us, and also all of you, the viewers, a prosperous New Year 2025.
All right. Thank you so much, Samuel, for coming through. And thank you for watching. NBS has more exciting programming coming up. Have a lovely day.